Is it just me, or is everybody pushing us to make passive income nowadays?
Passive income streams.
Passive income.
9 passive income ideas.
Passive income.
What is passive income?
15 best ways to earn passive income in the Philippines.
All the business growth coaches out there seem to be selling us, online courses and training programs teaching us to attract passive income. But what is passive income exactly? And is it possible to make a living just through passive income? And you know what? I'm going to take it a step further. Does passive income actually exist? First and foremost, let's clarify what passive income is. Passive income is the kind of income that you earn without having to work for it. You might have heard people online describe it as income that you make while you sleep or while you're traveling the world sipping cocktails in an infinity pool. And if you have been online for more than 1 second in your lifetime, you will have heard that the most common example of passive income is a kind of income that you earn by selling digital products, such as online courses, templates, PDF, and so on. These are largely considered a source of passive income because you do have to put a lot of work up front to create the product, but once it's out there, you can just potentially sell it without having to work. Or at least that's what they've been telling us. So the opposite of passive income is obviously active income. So that's the kind of income that you earn when you exchange your time for money. So examples of these are your salary or consultancies. If you are a salaried employee, you sign a contract agreement where in exchange for this amount of money, you have to commit at least 20, 30, 40 hours per week. But is it actually true that selling digital products actually doesn't incur any work? And again, does passive income really exist? Let's take a look. Okay, so let's look at these digital products. Do they actually generate passive income? My opinion is that I wouldn't necessarily say so. I did already make a video exactly on this. I'm going to put it up here somewhere for you to click on. But actually creating the digital product, I would say that that's the easiest part. That's where you get to be creative and download everything that you know about a topic and create a digital course or a PDF or whatever. But then the selling of it is actually quite difficult, especially nowadays where the market is, I wouldn't say saturated, but it's almost saturated. There are an infinite number of digital products out there, and whatever you have in mind of creating as a digital product, I can guarantee that there are at least 10 that are very similar. So in order to make sales from digital products, there's actually a lot of work that you have to do. You have to create sales funnels, you have to create a traffic strategy that drives many, many people to your sales page, and you have to create a conversion strategy that makes sure that your product is positioned to be different from all the other products. You have to have an audience development strategy, you have to have a content marketing strategy, and you have to consistently put things out there that can, again, drive people to your sales page and activate them as buyers. So no, I actually don't think that digital products are a source of passive income. Scalable income, yes, because you can make a lot of money from selling digital products if you have an audience who are ready to buy it from you. And the income that you earn from digital products is disconnected from the time that you invest. So you still have to invest time, you still have to work to sell those digital products, but the amount of money that you receive from those sales, if your strategy works, is exponential. So in conclusion, looking at digital products, I think that income is scalable, but it's not passive. Okay, so now let's look at rental income, which is also considered a source of passive income. So this is where you own a property and then you rent it to tenants who then pay you monthly rent. Again, this is the kind of income that is disconnected from the amount of hours that you put into renting your property, but there's still quite a bit of work to do. You have to find the tenants, and once you've found them, you have to manage that relationship. You have to manage things when things break. You have to manage replacing furniture and household items for them. You have to collect payment from them if they're late payers. And there's a whole host of legal issues that you have to be ready to take on, especially if you get a little bit unlucky with the kind of tenants that you take on. And if you own a property, you can delegate all of this work to an agency. So you basically entrust your property to an agency. They manage all of this stuff, but they take a quite high cut from the rental income. Most agencies take about 15% of the rental income. So is it really worth it? Especially if you have to take into account, again, all the expenses that go along with managing a property and of course taxes. So again, potentially this could be considered passive income, but there's a lot of risk attached to it, and definitely a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Another stream of income that is considered passive is the interest that you earn from putting your money into savings or from investing your money in the stock market. And I think that this is the most passive of all the incomes that I mentioned in this video. So if you're able to put aside savings every single month, and if you're able to put those savings aside in high interest savings accounts or in stocks and shares, then if you leave that money there, then eventually it will accrue interest or it will earn you returns. And those you didn't have to work for technically. However, how do you earn the savings that you then put aside every single month? Where does that money come from? If you want to genuinely make a living out of passive income, the amount of money that you have to set aside in order for the accrued interest to be high enough is quite high. And so you have to have a job to then save money to then put in those interest or, returns accruing accounts. So is this income technically passive? Yes, on paper, but in order for the interest to be generated in the first place and for it to be enough to live off of, you have to work to earn the money that you then invest. The next source of passive income is affiliate income. Affiliate income is essentially the commission that you earn from recommending other people's products to your audience. You have to join someone else's affiliate scheme, and then you get a specific link that tracks the people that click on the link and who then buy after they click your link. So if someone buys someone else's products after clicking on your link, then you get to keep a percentage of those sales. And commission tends to be anywhere between 5 or even 50% of the price of the product. It really depends on the product, and it depends on the affiliate scheme that you're a part of. So the strategy here is that if you're a part of an affiliate scheme, you have to take your links and then you include them in all of your content. You include them on YouTube video descriptions, on blog posts, on Instagram stories, on your website, in your emails. And this is in the hopes that people will be attracted by the product and by the copy that you create around it, and then eventually buy by clicking through your link. You're clever, and you would have already have understood that in order to generate enough affiliate sales for you to live off of, you have to have a pretty big audience. You have to have a pretty big traffic. You have to have a lot of pair of eyes that, see your content. If you have very few followers and very few people on your newsletter and very few views on your YouTube videos, then this is not going to probably generate for you a lot of income. And just like digital products, there is a lot of work that you have to do to build your audience and build the trust that that audience has for you. And then after you have achieved this, which requires a lot of work, then maybe you can start generating thousands of pounds in affiliate sales. But it really does take a lot of work, and it really does take a lot of time. Speaking of building an audience, if you are enjoying this video so far, I would appreciate it so much if you hit subscribe and like the video. And then lastly, let's take royalty income as the last example of passive income. So royalty income is the income that you receive when other people purchase your intellectual property. For example, you write a book and then you sell that book, or you write music and then that music is sold or streamed. This again could potentially be passive because you only have to write the book once and then hopefully it's sold hundreds of thousands of times. But if you speak to anybody who has ever written a book, they will tell you that writing the book is like half of the work, and then basically for the rest of your life you will have to continue to promote it, especially because now anybody can write and self-publish a book. There's many non-traditional ways to publish a book, and so again the market has been flooded and is still being flooded with thousands of new releases every single day. This means that in order to make considerable sales from selling your book or your music, you have to promote it, you have to create content about it, you have to go on other people's podcasts, you have to talk about it on your newsletters and continuously put it in front of people's noses. And again, this marketing can require a lot of time, and it technically never stops. So again, the potential income that you could make from royalty sales is disproportionate compared to the amount of hours that you put into writing it initially and then selling it forever. But again, I'm not sure whether I would define it as passive, because you still have to work for it, and there's still a lot of promotional work that goes into building that stream of income. So here's my conclusion. If you're thinking about wealth building, the only way to build significant wealth in your lifetime, aside from inheriting it, is by owning stuff that makes money. It is basically impossible to be highly wealthy just by earning a salary. unless that salary is very, very high and you keep your, cost of living very, very low for a number of years. I personally think that making a living while doing absolutely zero zilch is basically impossible. Again, you have to either be born into money or you have to be married to someone that, is born into money. But if you're building your wealth from scratch, I don't think it's actually possible to get to a point where you do zero work and you're still earning money. However, the sources of income that I mentioned in this book can really help in earning a lot of money very quickly. And if you put in place the correct strategies, your income can grow exponentially. And again, you still have to put in the time and the effort to build your audience and to build your brand and build all the strategies that you need to get there. But if you do get there, then there's a lot of benefits, including financial benefits, to reap at the end. I would still maintain that income isn't really passive, but definitely scalable. And you would never be able to earn as much if you just stuck with an employed job. But what do you think? Do you agree with me? Or do you think that there is a way to get to a place where you do absolutely zero work and you're still earning money? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye!